I dropped everything. No, I just know there are apples. I'm completely ashamed to say I have not read any of them yet. What does it mean? That changes everything, okay? He worships the ground that she walks on. Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hello, my name is Madhu, aka your chaotic book mom. Now, as you can see already, I'm standing in front of my actual bookshelf that holds almost 75-80% of my physical books. And what we are going to be doing today is we are going to be picking 26 books to read in 2026. I wanted to do like new releases, friends 5-star recommendations at first. But then I realized there are a lot of unread books that are on my physical TBR right now. So I really want to get to my physical books first, give priority to them first. And if I still don't read all these physical TBR books by the end of 2026, I am going to be doing a huge unhaul of, pending physical TBR. Okay guys, that is the goal for 2026 reading I have come up with. Okay guys, so we are going to be perusing our bookshelves. If it is more than 26 books, then well and good, it is okay. I have a glass jar that I've kept aside for this purpose. I am going to write down all the books and the author names, and pick 1 or 2 books every month to read. And whenever I have a mood to read a physical book, I'll just pick from the jar. I think that is going to be very fun challenge kind of thing. If you are already seeing my Bookmas Day 3 video, I did a huge unhaul where I unhauled almost like 65 plus books from my physical collection. So right now, whatever we are going to be looking at and seeing, they're all books that I really want to get to, I really want to read. So yeah, this is going to be pretty easy, guys. Right? It's going to be easy, right? Instead of just, sitting down and talking to you guys about 26 books I want to read in 2026, I thought it would be like a FaceTime with you guys if I start picking books from my bookshelves, giving you my thought process on why I picked them and why I want to read them and why I still have them on my bookshelf. So that's what we are going to do, and I hope you are ready with your beverage and snacks or whatever it is. I hope you're comfy. Okay, let's start picking out books for our 26 in 2026 TBR. I don't think you guys can see the top shelf very clearly from this angle, but this angle works for me, guys. I'm going to pick books out from the top shelves or shelves that you guys are not seeing and just show you guys here. Okay, I'll start displaying them here in this shelf. This shelf is very visible in this from the camera angle that I have right now. Okay, let's go. Okay, the first book I can see from my top shelf is something I've been seeing on BookTok and my For You page for a very long time now. I don't know why. This is an older series, but it has been gaining some traction currently. So everybody I know and I watch on YouTube is currently reading this book. It is the Prison Healer series by Lynette Noni, and I've heard nothing but good things about this book. Okay, I obviously received this in a book box, so I haven't read this one yet, but I'm really excited to get to this. It says, "Don't let her die, we are coming." I think that is ominous and intriguing enough for me to pick. And it is a hardcover. It is very pretty. Do we have any? No, it's just normal hardcover, guys. So basically, there is an incurable plague sweeping Zalinjov, a mysterious new inmate fighting for Kiva's heart, and a prison rebellion brewing. Kiva cannot escape the terrible feeling that her trials have only just begun. I'm going to be going into all these books like half blind. So I'm just going to pick books that vibe with me today. So the first book we have picked for our 26 and 2026 is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. Do we have anything else that I really want to read? Yes, I can see another series that has been gaining so much love from everyone in BookTube, YouTube, BookTok, everywhere, and that is Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. I have not read this series yet, but I own both the hardcover copies and I thrifted the paperback set for this series. So I own the whole trilogy. So if I start binging this book, it would be very easy to get to the next book because I own them. Okay, so this book, I don't know. I just know there are apples and jacks and I don't know, the FMC has blonde hair. That's all I know. Okay, so I don't want to go into much detail. Never make a deal with fate. Very nice. Evangeline Fox has believed in happily ever after until she learns that the love of her life is about to marry another and her dreams are shattered. Oh, poor Evangeline. That sounds sad. How far would you go for happily ever after? I'm guessing very, very far, extremely far. So, the next book on our 26 in 2026 is Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy by Stephanie Garber. I'm saying trilogy because I have a feeling that I would binge this series. Okay, guys, and the next book that I really want to get to in 2026 is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I do own the first two books in the series. If I love them, then I'll buy the third book. I think it has three books in our main trilogy, and there is one more called Brothers Hawthorne. There's like a companion novel or a novella or a new start to the series and set in the same universe. I'm not sure, but I do know that book exists. So Inheritance Games, this is like, I think, like a dark academia YA kind of book. So she came from nothing. They had everything. Now there is only one rule: winner takes all. Very nice. A thrilling blend of family secrets, illicit romance, and high stakes. Okay, very nice. I am really, really excited now, and I really like the spines of this paperback copy, this paperback edition. They look royal, kind of. I don't know. They do feel very chic and royal. So yeah, the next book I'm going to be picking is for our 26 and 2026. I think this is the third book, The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I'll keep the sequel back because if I love this first book, then I'll pick the sequel and put it on my TBR shelf. Now, do we have anything up here? Okay, that's all for the top shelf. I do have a couple more I have to read because it's there on my TBR. Okay, guys, now the next book I can see here is, let me just take this out. The next book I have here is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This book blew up when this came out. Okay, so many of my friends, they have been threatening me to read his books or read this book in particular, and I just know there are a ragtag group of children in this remote peak house, and it's very comfy, it's very cozy, it's very magical realism coded. So I'm really excited to get to this book now. I've owned this book for a couple of years since its release probably, but I haven't read it yet. So I need this push, okay, some kind of a push to read this book in 2026. It says it's a modern fairy tale about learning your true nature and what you love and will protect. I think it will be very cozy and very heartwarming, and I think it will give me all kinds of butterflies and smiles. It is going to be a really fun time, I guess. So the fourth book we have picked for 26 and 2026 is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. Now we have come to our contemporary romances. I do have a couple of books in my mind. Okay, I'll just move all of these books to this side so I can look at this book. I have never read Emily Henry books before, but I apparently own three of them. So since the TV adaptation is coming out, I want to read People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I wanted to read Book Lovers first because it is the most loved and most recommended books by Emily Henry. But since the movie is coming out, I want to read the book first before I watch the movie. So we are picking People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. It says 12 summers ago, Poppy and Alex meet. 11 summers ago, they are forced to share a ride home. 10 summers ago, Alex discovers his fear of flying. 7 summers ago, they get far too drunk and narrowly avoid getting matching tattoos. 2 summers ago, it all goes wrong. This summer, Poppy asks Alex to join her on one last trip. I think it is like a best friends to lovers kind of a situation. I'm not sure. I'm just going to go into this book blind. Okay, guys, that's how I enjoy contemporary romances. So, yeah. I think this is the fifth book. Yeah, the fifth book we have picked for 26 and 2026 is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Now, this book has been recommended to me, I don't know how many times. Okay, I've lost count of how many times this book has been recommended to me, guys. Okay, it is First Time Caller by B.K. Borizan. I've never read this author before, but I keep seeing all of her wintry, Christmassy books out on my For You page. So apparently this is an adult contemporary romance where the FMC's daughter set her mother and a radio show host together in a way. I don't know, that's what I heard from my friends, and the cover is gorgeous. Okay, I bought this copy because the cover was gorgeous, but I never got to reading it. It says on air, absolute magic lives inside these. Okay, Okay, on the back it says, everyone wants Lucy to find her happy ending, even the handsome, temperamental man calling the shots. But as sparks start to fly behind the scenes, Lucy must make the final call between a radio-sponsored happily ever after or the man in the headphones next to her. This sounds amazing, and it's very floppy as well. So we love a floppy book here, and I think we are done with this shelf. So the sixth book for our 26 and 2026 is First Time Caller by P.K. Borison. Now this bottom shelf, I have one book that I've been wanting to read for a very long time, but I cannot find the third book in the series second hand. So I've been putting this series off, and that is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I didn't read R.F. Kuang when their books came out, but I recently read Catabasis and I really love her writing style. So I want to read all the backlog books that the author has. So the one is Poppy War series. They also have Table, Yellow Face. I own everything now. Okay, I bought everything once I finished Catabasis. So I really want to read the Poppy War series in 2026. If not the whole trilogy, at least the first book. I want to get to the first book because did you guys see the special editions for this series? It is absolutely gorgeous. It is like a war story in a way. I don't know if it's true. Okay. It says Rin aced the Keju, the test to find the most talented students in the Nikara Empire. It was a shock to everyone that she got into Saingard, the most elite military school in Nikan. It was even more surprising. But surprises aren't always good. Very nice. I'm going to stop reading because I don't want to spoil myself or anything like that, or set too much of expectations on this book, because even though I love her writing style, you can never be too cautious, right? So I think 4, 5, 6. Okay, the seventh book we are going to be adding to our 26 and 2026 is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I bloody love this cover. Okay, it is so simple. It's gorgeous. That's all. And what else can we read from this shelf? I know I have a lot of books that I can read from this shelf, but I'm just choosing not to because I have very specific set of books on my mind that I really want to read from here. Okay, I can see the art copies of the Roots of Chaos series, but I think the finished copy is on the other shelf. So I'll show you guys when we go to that side. Okay, now I have a special edition copy of a duology that I really want to get to in 2026, but the paperback copy is on the other side, so I want to show you the paperback copy for that book. And do we need to read anything else from this shelf, or can we just shift to the fantasy heavy shelves that we have? I think we can shift to the other side, and if we have lesser number of books than 26, then we can come back and revisit all these books later. Okay guys, these are the books we have picked so far from one side of the shelf, and we'll just move to the other side and start taking out books that we want to read from that side. So I hope you guys can see this area, and please ignore this mess. I still haven't cleaned them up. It is on my agenda. Okay, it will be cleaned before the end of 2025, I promise you. Now let's just start from this shelf because there's an empty space in front of it, and I really want to get to this duology, 6 Crimson Cranes and the Dragon's Promise. I have heard nothing but good things about this book, and just look at these covers. Okay guys, I'm telling you, this was a cover love purchase when this was included in a book box. I bought the box just for these editions of this duology. So yeah, I think I have to read these books now because I own both the books, and if I love the first book, I can binge the second book as well. Let me just recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we already picked 7 from that side. This is the 8th book we'll be picking for 26 books to read in 2026. 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. Okay, Princess in Exile, a shape-shifting dragon, 6 enchanted cranes, and an unspeakable curse. It will take more than magic to find their way home. That sounds amazing. Okay, guys? And the spine, the cover. Oh my god, I'm falling in love all over again by just looking at these covers. So hopefully I love the story as well. So I'll just show it here. This is the 8th book for our 26 in 2026. I'll keep all the sequels back in this shelf because we don't need cluttering on our actual desk shelf. Okay, guys? Now, the next book I really want to get to in 2026 is, I'll just move it here because the book is behind it. This book, guys, The Prairie of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Somehow, the gods smiled upon me, okay, from above, and gifted me with 3 ARC copies of all 3 books in the Roots of Chaos series. But I'm so ashamed, okay, completely ashamed to say I have not read any of them yet. Okay, I have to rectify that mistake. And since the two prequels for this book is already out, apparently the reading order is the second prequel that recently came out first, Priory of the Orange Tree, and then a day of the Fallen Night or Day in the Fallen Night. I'm not really sure. A Day of Fallen Night. Okay, so that is the reading order, and I have to absolutely get to this book in 2026, because if I don't, then I don't know. I'll not be giving this away, but I'll just give myself a punishment, or I don't know. I cannot buy books for 6 more months. I'll put myself in a book buying ban. Yeah, that would be an appropriate punishment for me. Okay, if I don't get to these books in 2026, I would be on a 6 month book buying ban. I think there is motivation enough for me, guys. Okay, so let me just read the back. It is all reviews from other authors and such. So where is the blog? Okay. A world divided, a queendom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens. Across the dark sea, Tani has trained to be a dragon rider since she was a child, but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided east and west refuse to parley, and forces of chaos are rising from their sleep. I have such great plans for this book. I even have a video idea that will motivate me to read this book. So I'm really excited to get to this book in maybe the first half of 2026, hopefully. So this is our 7, 8, I think ninth book for our 26 books in 2026. Now let's go to the top shelf, and I can already see a book that I really want to read. That is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I do not read books based on the weather or months or anything. I just read whenever I feel like reading them. So I don't want to constrict myself to reading a dark academia book during the months. So I think if I set my mind to it, I will finish this book in like the first half of 2026. This is like a dark academia book that has been very popular, okay, and has been recommended to me by everyone who's loved and read dark academia books. It says, when tragedy strikes, one of the 7 friends is found dead. The rest face their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police and themselves that they are blameless. Do we have a murder mystery plot to this book? Oh, that changes everything. Okay, now I really want to read this book. This edition is a gorgeous special edition, and it is also signed by the author. And it is also signed by the author. So I obviously also received this in the book box that I was subscribed to like years back. So I'm really happy with this purchase. So I'm really excited to start reading this book. Maybe we can add this to our January TBR. Like, that is the kind of excitement I have right now after I read the short snippet from the blurb. So this is number 10 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is book number 10 for our 26 books in 2026. If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. We are doing a great job, guys. We've already picked 10 books. That is amazing. And I'm just going to look at all the other books that are on my top shelf and see if I can find anything that I can read in 2026 immediately. So not from this side. We'll just move all of this. Yep. I see one. I see a couple actually. Okay. I'm just moving this down because there is no space. Okay. Okay, I don't think you can get this particular edition of this series anymore, but I'm so glad I did like one book from the series a month from a bookstore, like randomly, because I wanted to read them, but I haven't read them yet, and that is The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater, and look how gorgeous these spines look. Okay, I've seen nothing and I've heard nothing but amazing things about the Raven Cycle. I know there is a character called Blue. She has a curse. I am going into this series blind. Okay guys, I am not even going to read the blurb behind this book because I really want to be surprised. Because if I start looking at the blurb and the plot of this book, I am going to be spoiled because there are a lot of spoilers out there, and this came out couple of years back. So I am going to be going into this series, the Raven Cycle series, blind. And I think we have our 11th book for 26 books in 2026. We have The Raven Boys, which is the first book in the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater. I am so excited. I'll just keep the first book as a display and keep all the rest of the books in the series back. I really love. I seriously cannot find the hardcover, these specific hardcover editions anywhere. I think it was discontinued. I'm not sure. I haven't, done research on that yet, but I cannot find them anywhere. I do find the paperback copy of it. We do have that, and I also want to read The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Okay, as always, this was included in a bookish box. Like 70% of the books or the physical books I own are from either a bookish box or it was gifted to me. Between life and death, there is a library, she said, and within that library, the shelves go on forever. Every book provides a chance to try another life you could have lived. That is a very interesting concept, to see how things would be if you had made other choices. Would you have done anything different if you had the chance to undo your regrets? I think this book is going to make me think and rethink my life choices a lot. So I cannot wait. I've heard very good things about this book. So I am very excited to read this now, and it is very plotty. So it is a pretty short book as well. So I think if I set my mind to it, I can club this with like 1 or 2 more reads in a month. Yeah, our 12th book, is it 12? 4, 7, yeah. The 12th book for our 26 books in 2026 is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Now let us come down to this shelf. I have so many books that I want to read from these 2 shelves here. And the first that I have here is, as I told you guys before, I do have the special edition copies of both books. Okay, so that is the Six of Crows duology by Liba Dugo. I know, guys, I own 2 copies of books or duology I have not even read yet. Okay, so yeah, if I don't read this in 2026, it is shame. Okay, shame on me for not reading this before 2026. Yes, yeah, like if I don't read this book in 2026, I'm going to put myself in a 1 year reading, 1 year book buying ban. I think that would be incentive enough for me to pick this book up. The thing is, it was so hyped. It is still so hyped, and a lot of people have made my expectations go rocket high, and I'm scared that it would not meet my expectations, that I would not end up loving this book as much as everyone else in this universe has. So yeah, that is why I have not picked this series up. I did watch the show though, so I know the premise of what happens in this book and the characters and such, but I think reading the books is a very different experience altogether. It is like on another level. So I am going to add Six of Crows by Liba Dugo to our 26 and 2026 list. I think this is the 13th book for that list. Now we do have 13 done, and now let me just move some of this over to this side. Now I do have this series. Okay, let me just try to get this out. Okay, I have the first and third book in the Magic is the Lost series. The first book is The Unbroken. The third I have is The Sovereign, I guess, by C.L. Clark. This is a sapphic epic fantasy debut. Doreen is a soldier stolen as a child and raised to kill and die for the Empire. She owes loyalty only to her fellow conscripts, but now she has been sent back to her homeland to stop a rebellion, and ties of blood may be stronger than she thought. Luca needs a turncoat, someone who can sway the rebels towards peace, while Luca focuses on what really matters, winning back her throne. Now, I think this will be a very good immersive read where you have to get into this book and binge read it. I am guessing a very huge cliffhanger for the first 2 books. It is a confirmed trilogy, and I do have the second copy on my arts list, or either on my arts list or my Kindle list. Okay, so I do own all 3 copies of the book in this series, and look at this gorgeous cover. Like, she looks badass. I love reading badass women in books. It somehow gives me some kind of adrenaline rush to read about female characters kicking ass. So yeah, like that's a kryptonite for me, guys. Okay, I fall in love with female assassins or rogues or soldiers kind of characters in any fantasy books. So this series as a whole is a must read for me in 2026. So I think this would be book 14 for our 26 books in 2026. That is The Unbroken by C.L. Clark. So I do have books that are on my TBR from this shelf that I have not read yet, but I don't want to force myself to make a list where the books I want to read are not included. Okay, there are more books on our DIY bookshelf over there by the desk space. So I'm going to just have a quick go through, and I think that's all we have from this shelf. Okay, for now. Now coming down, I do have a couple of books that I want to read in 2026 from here. Okay, let me just move this humongous book to the top so I have space to take books out. Now let me just create space. Okay, the first book I see is The Nightingale by Kristin Hanna. I've not read a lot of historical fiction, and the books that I've read is mainly based on like Indian independence, either by Indian authors or if they are historical fictions that makes you cry. So I've not read Kristin Hanna books ever. I want to diversify my reading taste. I'm currently, dipping my toes into a lot more genres that I would not pick up usually. So historical fiction is one of them. The other is sci-fi and the other is horror. I don't usually pick up books from those genres. I want to, branch out and start reading books from different genres as well. Now, this is the most requested Kristin Hanna books, okay, on the internet, and anyone I ask, okay, like recommend me historical fiction, they either recommend this book or some other work by this same author. So I'm really excited to, because since I own this book, I'm going to start with this book. It says The Nightingale is a phenomenon that has enthralled a generation of readers. Obviously, I can see the enthrallment. The story is about what it's like to be a woman during the war, when women's stories are all too often forgotten or overlooked. Is this book gonna make me feel sad and cry? I think so, yeah. But I absolutely love this cover. This spine is so pretty. Book number 15 for our 26 books in 2026. It is The Nightingale by Kristin Hanna. Now, the other book that is grabbing my attention is The Silent Patient by Michaelides. I don't know. This book has become like a classic under the genre thrillers or psychological thriller. So if I have not read this book yet, then I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Okay, Alicia Berenson lives a seemingly perfect life. Until one day 6 years ago, when she shot her husband in the head 5 times. Since then, she hasn't spoken a single word. It's time to find out why. I've heard this book has a very unreliable narrator. It makes you question things and question your reality, which I am really excited about. And I'm really excited to read what this book is all about. I don't know, does this have adaptation? I don't think so, right? I don't know, I would not. Okay, I'm just blabbering here, but I think I'm really excited to get to this book just for that unreliable narrator fact. Okay guys, now this is book number 16 for our 26 books to read in 2026, which is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. That's how we are going to pronounce the name. I'll look it up later, okay? And talking about branching out into different genres, this book, when I was unhauling this book, I realized it was a dystopian sci-fi kind of a setting. 36 Streets by T.R. Napper. This is a brutal, brooding, brilliant cyberpunk with soul. That's what it says. Okay? Lin, the Silent One, Wu, is a gangster in Chinese-occupied Hanoi, living in the steaming, paranoid alleyways of the 36 streets. Born in Vietnam, raised in Australia, everywhere, she is an outsider. Lin must confront the immutable moral calculus of unjust wars. She must choose family, country, or gang, blood, truth, or redemption. No choice is easy on the 36 streets. It does feel like sci-fi, but I'm not sure if it is. For sure, I'm not sure. But it says it's cyberpunk. But is it considered a sci-fi if it is a cyberpunk? I'm not sure. But since I have this book and I was really interested when I was just going through the book during my unhaul, I am going to add this book to my list of 26 books to read in 2026. Guys, I think this is book 17. Let me just recheck, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 plus 7, 16. Yes, this is 17. Book number 17 for 26 books to read in 2026. 36 Streets by T.R. Napper. Okay, since I've been really into botanical body horror books lately, I also want to read Wilder Girls by Rory Power. It is a body horror book, okay? They told us to wait and stay alive. It says it's a visceral and addictive thriller about the power of female friendship, but I know it is a body rot horror because look at this cover, okay? Plant and foliage is coming out of her face, and I've heard it is a good body rot horror. It's been 18 months since the Rockstar School for Girls was put under quarantine, since the talks hit and pulled Hetty's life out from under her. It started slow. First, the teachers died one by one, then it began to infect the students, turning their bodies strange, left to fend for themselves on their island home. The girls don't dare wander outside the school's fence, where the talks has made the woods wild and dangerous. As it seeps into everything, they wait for the cure they were promised. But when her best friend Wyatt goes missing, Hetty will do anything to find her, even if it means breaking quarantine and braving the horrors that lie outside. And when she does, Hetty learns that there's more to the story, to the talks, and their life at Rockstar than she ever thought possible. I think this is YA. Okay, that's how it sounds. A YA body dot horror? Say no more. Okay, say no more. I'm going to add this to my 26 books to read in 2026. I'm really excited. I love the cover. I love the color combination we have on the book cover. That is a very bright pink and a very pretty greenish blue. So I'm excited to read this book now. It is also pretty short, so I can binge it in like 2 days time. The font, do you guys see the font? Do you guys see the size of the font? It is big. Maybe even in a day I can finish this book. Now I'm doubly excited. Okay, I think this is book number 18. This is book number 18 for our 26 books to read in 2026 list, Wilder Girls by Rory Power. Guys, we have picked 18 books from these bookshelves, and I've run out of books that I really want to read from this area. Okay, so let us go to our desk and DIY bookshelf area, and I do have a lot of TBR books on there as well. So let's pick the rest of the books. 8 books, the rest of the 8 books from that bookshelf. Come on. These are all the books I picked from this side of the bookshelf, and these are all the books I picked from the right side bookshelf. So in total, we have 18 books from this huge bookshelves. Welcome to my desk and DIY bookshelf setup, you guys. Now I do have a couple of books that have been on my TBR for a very long time. So we are only going to focus on those books for now. All the new releases or the sequels that I'm yet to start or yet to get to, we are not going to be talking about all of them. One such book is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I have 3 of this author's book. Okay, the physical copy, but I have not read any of them. And this book definitely is one of the oldest book that was added to my TBR. So I want to get to this book first, okay, before I dive into one for my enemy or one for the enemy. I'm not sure. That I have. I also have the Atlas Complex. So yeah, I have the sequel too, and I haven't read the first book yet. Now this is a dark academia book, 6 extraordinary magicians, 5 chances to win, 1 secret society. Following recruitment by the mysterious Atlas Blakely, they travel to the society's London headquarters. Here, each must study and innovate within esoteric subject areas. What does it mean? I just have to, quickly check what esoteric means. Like, wait guys. Intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. Esoteric philosophical debates. So basically esoteric subject areas. Okay. What do you know? You learn something new every day. And if they can prove themselves over a year, they will survive. Most of them. Welcome to the Alexandrian Society. This sounds really good. I've seen people say like the author's works are either a hit or a miss. So I'm curious to know where I stand on that particular scale. So I think this would be the 19th book we are going to be reading for 26 books to read in 2026. The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. Now I do have a couple of newer releases here, but we are not going to be concentrating on newer releases. So let's just jump into this side of the bookshelf because I have a couple of older books and pre-loved books that I bought and I haven't read yet. The first book that comes to my attention is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I can pull this out, but it is proving to be difficult. Hold guys. I do have the older edition of The Bone Season and the sequel, The Song Rising and the Mime Order as well. But I don't know if this was reworked on for the newer releases. I don't know if it is just a cover change or work change as well. So I need to check that. If the story was reworked on, then I'm going to unhaul these 3 copies and get the newer editions, because it has been 10 years, I guess. So obviously the writing style and the quality of everything would be much better in her reworked books. So that is on my agenda. But for now, I'm adding The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon to my list of 26 books in 2026, because Scion, no safer place. The year is 2059. It is dystopian. I thought this was just a fantasy. 19-year-old Paige Mahoney is working in the criminal underworld of Scion, London, based at 7 Dials, employed by a man called Jackson Hall. Her job, to scout for information by breaking into people's minds. We have mind magic. Cool. For Paige is a dream worker, a clairvoyant, and in her world, the world of Scion, she commits treason simply by breathing. But outside the repressive boundaries of Scion, a powerful otherworldly race waits in the shadows. The season has come and Paige's life is about to change forever. So we are in a dystopian, futuristic setting. They have mind-reading people and creatures that awaits in the shadows. I cannot wait to start reading this book now. So yeah, this would be the 20th book we are adding to the 26 books to read in 2026, The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. If this has been reworked on, I would get the recent release copy and unhaul this copy. This book is a pretty recent release, but I was waiting for all 3 books in the series to get published so I can binge read them. I've already ordered all 3 books. They are on their way, but I do have the first book with me. It is Iron and Embers by Helen Schurer. I need to check how to pronounce. Scheurer, like saying Teurer. Starting with the SH sound. Schaurer. Okay. This is why I love audiobooks, guys. Like, you can never misspell anything because you would already have been listening to the correct pronunciation of any fantasy names or words or anything. So the author's name is Helen Schaurer. Okay, the Iron and Embers. This is the Ashes of Tesmar series. I think there are 3 books in the series. The 3rd book just released. It is a trilogy. It's an epic fantasy romance trilogy, The Ashes of Tesmar. Perfect. Okay, all 3 books are out in this series and I'm really excited to read this book. Okay, Blood and Steel. I don't remember the actual series name, but the first book was Blood and Steel by the same author. It is the continuation of that series, I guess, but you can read this as a standalone trilogy. That's what I've heard. And anyone who has read this trilogy or read this series has, given it a very high price, either rated it 5 stars or 4 stars. Whoever I know. So I am really excited to dive into this book, and it sounds amazing and the cover looks absolutely gorgeous. And let me just say this: Alchemist, Poisoner, Storm Wielder. With peace between the kingdom as fragile as ever, enemies lurking around every corner, Ren will discover whether love can truly heal all wounds or if it is just in fact the most lethal poison of all. Oh, the other series is called the Legends of Tesmar series. I think that's where the Blood and Steel comes from. This is the Ashes of Tesmar. Okay, we are going to add this to our list. This would be book number 21 for our 26 books in 2026, Iron and Embers by Helen Schaurer. Now, the other book that I absolutely want to devour using this 26 books in 2026 as a reason is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Like I said, I just recently read Catabasis by the author and I really want to read all of the backlog works of them. So I want to pick up Babel as well. I have a very cool video idea for that book as well. So it is just here, okay? It is the skeleton in this DIY parked bookshelf. So I do not want to remove this. If I remove this, all these books will fall down. So I'm not about to do that right now. So just know that I have a hardcover copy of Babel. You can just see here. Can you see, guys? I have a hardcover copy of Babel and I really want to add that to my TBR as well. It is also a dark academia book, and I'm just realizing that I've added almost like 4 or 5 dark academia books to this 26 and 2026 list, and I think I'm going to love this coming year. Guys, I'm going to love this year. So basically, the next book we are going to be adding to that list is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I think it is book number 22. We did 18, 19, 20, 21. Yes, book number 22 would be Babel by R.F. Kuang. See, okay, I always want to discuss books the majority of the people are talking about, and I do not want to escape from the bandwagon. I always want to be a part of the bandwagon, and I'm already late as it is. Okay, guys, the book I'm talking about is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I know you might ask me, Madhu, why do you have a special edition copy of a book that you have not read yet? The thing is, okay, let me just explain. This is not a new copy that I got. This was a pre-loved copy, and the price of this pre-loved copy book was even less than one third of its original price. So I was like, if I have to invest in new paperback copies, I would have spent more money. Okay, so I just went and bought the special edition pre-loved copy because why not? Okay, adult money is there; it exists to buy things that you love. Okay, I'm basically saving money at this point. Okay, you cannot fault me for saving money, right? Girl math. So obviously everybody knows this book has dragon riders in them. It is set in an academy. It is a romantasy series. 3 books are out, and we don't know when the 4th book or the next book in the series is going to come out, but I still want to read this series, and I want to know whether the hype that everybody is giving this series is real, worth it or not. So I'm going to be reading Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. So this would be book number 23 for our 26 books to read in 2026. Fourth Wing for the entire series by Rebecca Yarros. This next book, it took so much time and effort and patience to finally find a physical copy of this book. Okay, guys, the series is getting traditionally published and you cannot find the indie versions of the copies anymore. But during one of my, pre-loved books perusal and buying sprees, I found a copy of The Book of Azrael by Amber B. Nicole. The amount of craze, the amount of love this entire series is getting on my FYP page, it is unreal. Guys, it is definitely unreal, and by the look of it, I think I would absolutely devour this book in like a single or a double sitting. It is the kind of book that I would absolutely fall in love with. You guys know what I mean? So I'm going to be adding The Book of Azrael by Amber B. Nicole to our list. I'll just read you guys. Where there are gods, there are also monsters. For 1,000 years, the otherworld has known peace until now. Many centuries ago, desperate to save her dying sister, Diana made a deal with Caden, a monster far worse than any nightmare. Locked in servitude to him, she is forced to hunt down an ancient relic held by her most dangerous enemies, an army led by Samkiel, the world ender. After the gods' war, Samkiel hid from everything, denying his crown, deserting his people. Now an attack on those he loves sends him back to the realm he never wished to return to, and into the sides of an enemy he had hoped to forget. With every world at stake, Diana and Samkiel are forced to set aside their animosity and work together before all is lost. This is a dark romantasy with a lot of world building and characters and everything. Okay, the FMC is morally grey character here, and the MMC, he worships the ground that she walks on. So I want to see what happens in this book. Okay, guys, the curiosity switch in my brain has been turned on, and I cannot ignore this anymore. Okay, so we are going to be adding this book. I think this would be book number 23 for our 26 books to read in 2026 list. We are adding The Book of Azrael by Amber B. Nicole. Now the next 2 books that I'm going to be reading for this list is not physically with me yet. I did order the pre-loved copies of the whole entire series basically, but it has not arrived. My hands have not touched these books. My eyes have not seen those books yet. So it is still on its way. I assure you it is coming. Okay, guys. So book number 25 would be Red Rising by Pierce Brown. It is like, I really want to branch out and read more different genres in 2026. And this is a sci-fi series which is getting a lot of traction currently on my social media page, and everybody is bawling their eyes out and saying like this is the best series, this has become a god tier series and everything. So obviously I wanted to jump into that bandwagon and read this series as well. So it says, Darrow is a Red, a member of the lowest caste in the color-coded society of the future. Like his fellow Reds, he works all day believing that he and his people are making the surface of Mars livable for future generations. Yet he toils willingly, trusting that his blood and sweat would one day result in a better world for his children. But Darrow and his kind have been betrayed. Soon he discovers that humanity reached the surface generations ago. Vast cities and lush wild spreads across the planet. Darrow and wretches like him are nothing more than slaves to a decadent ruling class. Inspired by a longing for justice and driven by the memory of lost love, Darrow sacrifices everything to infiltrate the legendary institute, a proving ground for the dominant gold caste, where the next generation of humanity's overlords struggle for power. He will be forced to compete for his life and the very future of civilization against the best and most brutal of society's ruling class. There, he will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if it means he has to become one of them to do so. This sounds absolutely amazing. If I have to read this series, okay guys, I would need the sequel immediately because it does end in a cliffhanger. That's what I've been told. So I do not want to wait in between reading the next book in this series. So I ordered the first 3 books, the main series, okay, the main trilogy of the Red Rising saga. It is on its way. I'm excited to read and experience this world with everybody who has been doing it for the past couple of months. The companion trilogy, I believe, the 3rd book in that series is coming out very soon in 2026. So everybody is reading this whole entire series right now and I want to join them too. So for book number 25 for 25 books to read in 2026, we are doing Red Rising by Pierce Brown. The physical copy is on its way. Okay guys. And for the final book in this list, I have never read any works by this author before, but I have heard nothing. I'm telling you, nothing but good things. Okay, this series and every work by this author has become like a classic staple in the book community for fantasy readers. So basically, the series I'm talking about is the Mistborn Saga by Brandon Sanderson. I have not read any Brandon Sanderson books yet, but I do have Skyward series by him. It is like a YA sci-fi series. That is his first sci-fi series, I guess. I'm not sure, but I do have that series as well. It is coming with the pre-loved books. Okay, I went to town ordering a lot of pre-loved books during one of the sale they had. So a lot of new books, older releases, but new to me books are coming. The 3 books in this main saga, the Mistborn Saga, is on its way for me. So basically, what if the whole world were a dead, blasted wasteland? Mistborn, for 1,000 years the ash fell and no flowers bloomed. For 1,000 years the Scar slaved in misery and lived in fear. For 1,000 years the Lord Ruler, the sliver of infinity, reigned with absolute power and ultimate terror, divinely invincible. Then when hope was so long lost that not even its memory remained, a terribly scarred, heartbroken, half-Scar rediscovered it in the depths of Lord Ruler's most hellish prison. Kelsier snapped and found in himself the powers of a Mistborn. Very cool, very cool, very, very cool. I'm not going to continue to read the whole entire blurb because I want to get into this book blind and enjoy this high fantasy. So it is a high fantasy, so I think it would be a great introduction for me to, start reading more high fantasies. Now I'm kind of getting into the stage where I am craving a lot more depth from the characters, from the story, from the plot as a whole. So I think I'm starting to venture into the adult high fantasy era. So if you guys have any other recommendations, I do have books by Robin Hogg on my wish list, by Brandon Sanderson, and a lot more series there are on my wish list. So I will be getting to them one by one very slowly in the upcoming years and months. So the last book, book number 26 for 26 books to read in 2026, we have the Mistborn Saga, okay? At least the first book, okay, the Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Guys, I cannot believe, okay? If I tried to lift all of the books in a single go, will I be able to do that? Should I try? Let me try. Right. Let's see if I can hold all 24 books in my hands. Okay, guys, wish me luck. Let's see if I can hold all of them. I don't know if I can, okay? If I can, then I'm going to pat myself in the back and give myself a new book as a present. As if the overflowing physical TBR is not enough. How will I ever? I don't think I can. Guys, this is getting taller than my face. Help! I need help. Oh my god, please don't drop everything. Please don't drop everything. You cannot see my face. You cannot see my face, guys. No. Oh my god, no. Don't drop. I dropped everything. I have all the books stacked. Okay, now let's see if I can lift them. If I can, I would get a very cool thumbnail. If I cannot, I'm just going to stack everything onto this shelves and just take a picture. Guys, let's go. Wish me luck. Guys, wish me luck. Is it going to fall? I finally did it, guys. We are going to be. This is a stack of 24 books out of the 26 books we are going to be reading in the year of 2026. 2 are still on its way to me. So before I drop everything and damage my books, I am going to keep everything down and I'm going to tell you guys. Okay? Ta-da! I have 24 of the 26 books that I want to read in the year 2026 displayed very prettily here. I tried to hold all of them together, but I dropped everything on my foot the minute I tried that. So yeah, we are not going to do that. Hopefully the footage got the moment and I can make a thumbnail out of the feet that I just did. So yeah, it looks very beautiful like this. I'm going to keep it like this for a while because I want to write it in a paper and put it in a jar so I can pick randomly which book I can read next. So I might add more from my physical TBR to the TBR jar. So I definitely have around or more than 100 books on my physical TBR. You guys just don't see it because I didn't talk about it. This is just 24 out of the humongous list we have. But if I can get to all 26 of them by 2026 end, I would be the happiest person in this whole entire Milky Way galaxy. You guys, we have finally come to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this FaceTime journey of me going through my bookshelves and picking 26 books to read in the year 2026. And if you like this video, please do not forget to subscribe and click the notification bell because you will be notified every time I post. I don't know which day of Bookmas I'm going to be posting this video because it all depends on which one I edit first. So I'm not going to commit the day number here. So I hope to see you guys very soon on my next video. Bye guys.